Previously on Cruising the Cut. In the last episode, I engaged warp speed and set off up the Grand Union Canal Welford Arm heading to Welford. At the end of that episode, fellow boater Neil and I were just turning into the Welford Arm. And now, the story continues, with a rather shy horse who gazed at us as we came round the corner. I wonder if he knows what these grassy knolls are for. There were several of them just along this one patch of canal. Being now on a different arm, the bridge numbering starts anew, so here's Bridge 1. And before we get much further, I have something to confess.
I have never yet been through a lock solo. A lot of people have asked me on the comments on my videos, how do you do locks on your own? Is it hard? And I say, well, provided you take your time, all should be well. But in fact, I'm simply passing on received wisdom that other people have told me. So part of the purpose of this trip is to have a go at the lock on the Welford Arm, because there is just the one. It's supposedly relatively shallow, shouldn't be too busy at the moment, and that will give me a chance to go through it once, down or up on the way out, and then obviously up or down on the way back.
The Welford Arm seems a tad Grimm's fairy tale in places, gnarled tree branches reaching out to snatch you from the boat, or more likely, scratch your camcorder. Pressing on, undiscouraged, it certainly feels a bit narrow with all that foliage, but it's also quite short, so not long until this rather nice wooden bridge, number 2, and just after that, the single lock on this stretch. Lock set, you chug gently in, shin out off the top of the roof and shut the gates, then let the water in. Unfortunately, because I was doing all this and doing it solo too, I couldn't sensibly film it as well, so you'll just have to take my word that although Neil was there, he was merely supervising, and I did get through it on my own without a hiccup. 2 minutes round the corner, and we moored up for the evening.
Good morning. I've had a perfectly decent night's sleep on the canal. We went to the pub last night for a spot of food. That was very nice, including a delicious chocolate fudge cake pudding with double ice cream. Very full afterwards. Rolled my way back down the towpath to the boat and tried to go to sleep. Now, here's the thing. If you are a city or town person, as I am, the countryside is jolly noisy. In the evenings you got animals and birds all making a racket, and then night comes and the owls all come out and start hooting as they're hunting, making a racket, and then of course at the crack of dawn you get the birds all tweeting at the dawn chorus and making a racket. It is so loud. Thinking of going to a hotel in London for a good night's sleep. I kid, I jest, it's lovely really, but it is surprising how much wildlife you hear when you are going to sleep on the boat. But it is glorious, it truly is, and I wouldn't change it. So the plan for today is simply motor back to the marina. Obviously I had a shower on board this morning, and if you saw my haul aboard video, you'll remember this, the little valve thing that's designed to shut off the water mid-shower so that you can lather up. And as one of my commenters suggested, what happened was that the cold water, even though in theory it's at the same pressure as the hot, went back up the hot pipe while I had that thing shut, so that when I turned it on again, what I got was a blast of cold before the hot came back on again. So I've decided that's a bad idea. Also, having this on made the shower sit at a funny angle in its holder, so it was trying to spray the door instead of me, and I couldn't make it sit the right way. So I've abandoned that as a bad idea. I will just have to turn the taps on and off as and when I need them. That's it for now, I think, so just having a spot of breakfast, and then when that's done, firing up the engine and heading back.
So with Neil leading the way on Moody Cow, that's his boat, we began the trek back to the marina.
I'm through the lock again. Unfortunately, obviously doing it myself, I couldn't also film myself doing it, and also there was a boat waiting, so I felt I had to get a move on. But anyway, that is the lock done twice, once yesterday, one today, and both times without incident.
As you may have noticed from the jacket, I'd learned from the experience of the day before and was prepared, including headgear.
Now don't laugh, I know I look ridiculous, but my head is very warm.
I led the convoy now, Moody Cow behind me behaving well today with no tantrums and oil leaks. My trusty steed was fine, but for a flashing warning light. But it's okay, I just unplugged that and carried on regardless. That same poor horse was in the same spot as yesterday, still looking sad. I hope he's okay. 2 minutes from the horse and it's a sharp left back onto the Grand Union Canal. Now, this being the return journey, much of it is, of course, the same as on the way out, as seen in part 1. But this was unexpected. The chaps in the dinghies apparently doing a fish survey, and apparently there are lots of them. So, gently past for me and Neil, still keeping pace on his boat. Better news on the A14 as we returned underneath, unlike the jam the day before. Being a bit chilly, there were few boats about, but friendly hellos were exchanged with some fellow hardy souls. Onwards we cruised, until finally the familiar beacon of the mariner's wind turbine came into view. And that was it, 2 days of gentle canal ambling. A bit cold, but an excellent jaunt. And many more to come this summer. Unless anything should change, of course.